Rayman is coming back sooner rather than later, and if the leaks are to be believed, we could have a remake on our hands. So to sum up really quickly, it was leaked a while ago by Insider Gaming that Rayman was not only being worked on as a brand, but that a remake called Project Steambot internally was being worked on. Now further leaks have been made by Insider Gaming saying there is a remake in the works, and if that does well then Rayman 4 will happen. This is about the pros and the cons and the fun stuff we want to see, the crappy stuff we don't want to see, what we love about Rayman 1, what we hate about Rayman 3, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's delve right into the world of Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc. Rayman 3, I think it's my favourite game in the series. But would a remake change that? Let's find out. So kicking off with the pros, business brain again, I just want to say Rayman 3 is a great game. It was a very popular game. Rayman has a very recognisable design. While I think the Origins Legends style, specifically Legends after 2013, is probably the most recognisable just because he was used for the mobile games, was used for the board game, for a lot of branding. I certainly think in terms of 3D, the Rayman 3 design, which ended up getting used for all the Rabbids games, is the most recognisable. So taking the Rayman 3 and remaking that one, you're probably going to attract a wider audience. Now a con on that, obviously like I've mentioned in Rayman 2, is that remaking a game with 3 in the title but not the first 2, you're going to have a hard time getting new audiences. Call it Rayman Havoc Reignited for example and you'll do just fine. Which brings me on to another point, slight con here, again business brained, I don't think any Ubisoft remake could compare to Marked as Unreal's fan remake of Rayman 3's The Fairy Glade. I think they would always be compared to that, and I simply just don't think that Ubisoft's own I don't think any other remake of Rayman 3 would come out on top. It's really good. Go and play it. It's really good. With that, and I'm only going to touch on this lightly in this video, as I say in all of them, I don't think a Rayman 3 remake is super likely, and that's one of the reasons why I think so. I think it would be a silly choice anyway, but I think that Marked as Unreal's fan remake being supported by Ubisoft, by them being at Rayman Alive, kinda means that they have no intention of doing one themselves. Otherwise they would probably have tried to shut down the project, and at the very least wouldn't have supported the fact that that was being publicly released to everyone for free. That said, the light-hearted tone of Rayman 3, the meta humour and all of that really fits at the modern gaming landscape. A modern version of Rayman 3 would be so cool, and while I do personally still think a Rayman 3 remaster is coming, I'm sorry to bring it up again, I know I always do, and I could be wrong, and if I have misled anyone, I apologise completely. I just still personally think it's real. If that does happen, I think Rayman 3, as it is completely untouched, would be absolutely fine in a modern gaming climate. Which is why if we did get a remake of Rayman 3, I think an untouched one would be sensible. Not untouched, but like a one-to-one remake of Rayman 3 would be sensible. I think it would sell well, I think people would like it, I think it would do well in this climate. But as is my issue with Rayman 1 and Rayman 2, if you don't change anything, is it a waste of time? Rayman 3 still plays very well on modern hardware, especially if you're on Xbox. You can play Rayman 3 HD on the most recent console. I have my theory that Rayman 3 Remastered is going to come anyway, which obviously makes the idea of a full-fledged remake completely redundant, but Rayman 3 still plays good, like it still feels relatively modern to play, like it doesn't need updating in that way. Obviously the graphics do look 22 years old, but is that the end of the world? I don't know, I just feel like while a remake of Rayman 3 would be awesome just to see it graphically enhanced, if they're trying to reinvigorate the entire series with one remake, I just don't think it would be a one-to-one remake of Rayman 3, meaning they would have to change things, which I think would alienate people a hell of a lot more than it would do the people that would be alienated if they changed loads of Rayman 2. So coming from that angle, if they were to change a bunch of stuff, because we have to assume it's not going to be a one-to-one remake if it is Rayman 3, I would love to see more minigames. I really like the minigames in Rayman 3, some of them are a bit shit, and I've joked on this channel about, not worrying too much about unlocking them. But I like that they're there. I liked the Wanna Kick Rayman videos. I loved that sense of humour, and I loved the wackiness, and I love the fact that Rayman 3 wasn't afraid to admit the fact that it was a video game, and that kids could play it, and that it was silly and fun. I love that about Rayman 3, and I would love to see so much more of that. I would love to see more minigames. I'd love to see more minigames that incorporate the main gameplay of Rayman 3, because they all kind of felt like tech demos for different mechanics. I assumed a lot of it was mechanics that were going to be used in boss fights or in the levels and were cut out. But I would love to see just like going into Razov's mansion as Rayman, and it's like a treasure hunt, and you get 60 seconds to run around the whole mansion and find a gem, and when you find it, it adds 30 seconds to the clock and hides a new one randomly. Something like that. I think that'd be a really fun minigame. I also think more disco trips would be just an absolute win, and being able to play hundreds of different disco trips randomly from a disco trip bonus level. Hell, even a disco trip maker. Imagine a bird's eye camera angle and you can just place blocks, essentially. I think designing levels, like a level designer for the disco trips, could be such an easy thing to add, and it would make the game so endlessly fun. I know I would make hundreds of disco trip levels if I could. I feel like every game needs some kind of customization to make it just grander and last longer. You know what I mean? If you can create levels, you're never going to stop playing. And I think between that and being able to make your own missile command levels based on that one minigame, you could have endless fun with Rayman 3. On top of this, I want to see more worlds. If it's not a one-to-one remake, show me some new environments. Add some more worlds, add some more enemy types, some more hoodlums. Just Rayman 3, but more. That's what I would want to see if it was a remake that wasn't trying to be exactly the same. You know? Also, I just want to see more of the longest shortcut. I thought those platforming challenges were so fun, and it's a shame that it's sort of just hidden in the middle of the game. I'd love to see more of them. If they could make some as mini games or just a couple of extra worlds interspersed, I think that'd be brilliant. While I've got you here, I'm going to ask you very kindly to click the subscribe button, like the video, and if you want to support the channel, you can become a member down below. There are perks, so it's a win-win for everybody. That's all I got. I also think if you're really going for it, add some side content in Rayman 3, like in the main story. Not just collectibles and matuvus and cages and gems and all of that stuff, but add reasons to go back. You know, towards the end of the Clearleaf Forest, maybe you find a character that needs help with something, and you can backtrack all of your way back to the beginning of the level to collect something and get it for them. But as you're backtracking, there are more enemies. Suddenly things get more difficult. Backtracking through the levels poses a completely brand new platforming challenge. Things like that, I feel like they could really enhance the existing game of Rayman 3 and make it something beautiful, something much bigger, something amazing, just by fiddling around with it. Do you know what I mean? And to take a tip from Marked as Unreal, Nightmare Mode, Time Trial Mode, unlockable skins for doing special things, bonus levels for going off the beaten path in the disco trips or in other levels. I think that'd be so fun. I think built-in minigames too. So think Rayman 1 when you find the magician and you get those like 60-second segments where you got to collect all the things. Little rooms like that you can find in Rayman 3 that transport you to little minigame sections. I think that'd be pretty cool. I can think of 1,000,001 things I would want added to Rayman 3. So be sure to let me know in the comments if any of my ideas appeal to you and what your ideas for new features for Rayman 3 could be, because honestly, I cannot stop thinking of them. I love Rayman 3 so much. Now, there are a couple of cons to Ubisoft remaking Rayman 3. I've mentioned this before. 3, can you really sell a remake of a third game to new fans? Probably not. Yeah, we would all buy it, but we're fans. We know what it is. We've played 1 and 2. A 10-year-old now sees, Rayman 3 remake. They are not going to care. Really, you need to just brand it as a brand new reboot of the series, and I just don't think 3 is the sensible way to do it. And I say it in every video, business brain here, we need this game to sell well. That leak from Insider Gaming suggests that this game needs to sell well if we ever want to see Rayman 4. So I just don't think Rayman 3, a full-fledged remake of Rayman 3, would be a wise thing to do. I think it would be a waste of money. I think a remaster in the style of Beyond Good and Evil would be a bloody good idea. It would be cheap to make. You could charge, what, 20, 30 quid for it? I know I'd buy at least 6 copies of whatever collector's edition they do, but don't do it through limited run games. Don't, ever. I still don't have my Beyond Good and Evil. I ordered it a year and a half ago. Don't ever do collector's editions through limited run games ever again, Ubisoft, okay? Are you listening? But yeah, I think Rayman 3 Remaster would be fine. I think that would make enough money and spark interest again. So please just do it. If you haven't done it already, listen to me, listen to all the other people in my comments that have said they'd like to see it, and please just do it. But also, if you're remaking Rayman 3, don't stop. Just listen to me and add a bunch of stuff that I've suggested. I know I've said it before, but I just don't want to see a one-to-one remake. You know, like, I don't want to see it be exactly the same. I can play Rayman 3. I can play a fan remake of Rayman 3 where it's very similar but with boosted graphics and a couple of extra modes. You know, if Ubisoft are going to do this, if Ubisoft are going to go all in on a Rayman 3 remake, I need it to be different. I need it to be something brand new. I need to not be able to basically play the same thing on my PlayStation 2. This is the thing, I mentioned this before in a previous video, like Crash Bandicoot. I can play Crash 3 on my PS1. So why did I need it to be a one-to-one remake on the PS4 one, you know? Kind of want a remake to be really different. So whatever you're doing, Ubisoft, I really hope it's like a reimagining, reboot, just a brand new version, like a new take, not just a remake like a one-to-one remake, a new take on whatever game it is, which I will talk more about in the next video regarding Rayman Raving Rabbids, but let's finish Rayman 3 for now. I don't want to see stuff taken away, so even if they do change the whole thing up, I would love the same mini-games to come back. Just add to them. Don't take them away. I love 2D madness. I love Missile Command. Okay, actually, you know what? You can take away the stupid vehicle section from the end of Rayman 3, and you can change the reflux fight to be just the first section of the finale reflux fight. Yeah, that, but bigger. None of that vehicle section with the shooting and any of that bollocks. Make it better. Make it bigger. Oh man, just like 10 different stages of the platforming hand-to-hand combat with Reflux, and I will love you forever. I will love you forever. The boss battle against Reflux at the end of the Desert, the Kanaran, that is probably my favourite boss fight in any game ever. I love it so much. It's so wonderful. The music goes so hard. Oh man. Take that and say we're going to make a Rayman 3 remake based on how amazing this one segment is, and just make the whole game that good. Also, another pro, so basically I can't think of any cons. If you make a Rayman 3 remake, just add shit to it is what I'm saying, so I'm done with the cons. I got no more cons. Another pro, though, I think in development, the Bog of Murk was supposed to be much bigger. Bring that back. Bring back the original plan for the Bog of Murk. Do all of this stuff. I'm going to talk about that sort of thing a lot more in the Raving Rabbids and Origins videos, because those games were so much more different than their original plans. So I'm going to talk more about this kind of concept later on. But in this, for Rayman 3, I want to see the Bog of Murk the way it was meant to be. Because the Bog of Murk, while I still like it, is my least favourite world in Rayman 3. So to see that as it was originally intended would be so cool, and it could bring it up to be my favourite world. Any cancelled worlds, any cancelled enemies, bring them all back in. You know those creatures you can see at the end if you get enough points in the Tower of Leptis and it unlocks this little room with some cut content? Bring it all back in. It could be so fun. And this is a recurring theme I have with my wants and wishes in remakes, and not just in the Rayman series, but like with Assassin's Creed Black Flag as well, which is being remade. We know that's coming. I want to see anything that was cut due to time. If something was cut because it was a bad idea, whatever, okay, you made the right choice. But if something was cut because of time constraints, I want to see that stuff come in. I want to see the ultimate true original vision of whatever the game was supposed to be when it first released. And this stays true to Rayman 3. This is going to stay true to the next couple of videos I talk about. So yeah, stay tuned. If you want to know why I think Rayman Raving Rabbids would actually be a bloody good idea to remake, and how I would envision it, check out my next video. I got some good points. And of course, stick around for the Origins and Legends videos, because while you might think those games are too new to get remakes, and I completely agree, now I've started to consider what remakes of those could be like, and I got some really interesting ideas. So be sure to stick around for those videos and let me know what you think, because come to think of it, Origins and Legends are such good games, but I can think of so much stuff I would want to add or change about them. But as a final closing thought before I say my goodbyes, I just want to say I don't think Rayman 3 is going to get a remake. Again, this is not a video about speculation or anything like that. I just got to say, I do think this one's really unlikely, and my business brain reasons for that I mentioned earlier, I think really do ring true. I don't think it would be the wisest idea to reinvigorate new life, new fans into the series. I think given the fact that they supported a remake, I just think it's really unlikely. I do also think a remaster's coming. Again, I could be wrong, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But that's pretty much all I got. So yeah, be sure to subscribe, become a channel member if you want to support the channel, and stay tuned for my next few videos on the same topic, the pros and cons of Rayman Raving Rabbids, Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.